What's up, loonies? If anybody's watching, I very much doubt it. But, you know, if anyone is watching, give me a quick shout out. Didn't think so. Anyway, give me 2 more minutes and we will be up and running liveage. So first things first, let's go with the disclaimer. Trading of any sort carries high risk. Don't do it unless you really know what you're doing or what you're going to get yourself into. And I might swear in this stream. It's not for kids. Definitely not for kids. Don't let your kids watch it. I don't really want to be... I don't really want to, someone to say, you're swearing, got my kids swearing and saying words that you shouldn't be saying. So don't watch this with kids, and don't repeat anything I say, or don't do anything I do. It's for entertainment purposes only. All that good jism. So yeah, let me just have a sip of my fizzy goodness. Oh yeah. So, excuse me. First of all, big shout out to a friend of mine, Neil Rowe. He's a film producer, along with his good lady wife Amanda. They have produced several films. The latest is absolutely the dog's cheese on the end of the pink thing. It really is good. Alien Outbreak, it's called. It's out already. You can now digitally download it. I think you can buy physical copies. But anyway, just go on to Google. Other search engines are available, I am sure, and search for Alien Outbreak. And this is what it looks like. They've got their own Facebook page. They've got their own web page. Go and give them some support if you like. Failing that, just watch it on Amazon or on any other streaming service that you might have. Doesn't have to be Amazon. Doesn't have to be Google Digital. Anyway, got a couple of things to go through tonight. I know I've not been online for some time. I've been away. I've been working. I have a full-time job as well as doing some trading, and because of this coronavirus crap, there's been quite a few people, as same as myself, who have been made to go back to work, and I don't like it. Don't like it at all. Anyway, because of coronavirus, I've been working. I wouldn't say working hard, but I've been working and dressing myself up in weird stuff and talking to other lunatics as I go. So between that and home life and homeschooling and a wife and all sorts of stuff to sort out, I haven't really been able to get onto the streams or get any trading done really. It's not been my top priority presently, but that should change shortly. I have got the chat on another monitor, so if anyone does join and you want to ask me some questions about something, please do. If you're watching this in the future, have a look back at the date that this is. Today's date is the 29th of May 2020, Nothing I say is set in stone. Nothing I do or say is the be all and end all. It's just the way I look at the markets. Talking of, excuse you, the way I look at the markets. Let's get rid of this bit now. Don't need to see that. So, Mad Trading, that's me. I'm your host, Mad Trader. I'm definitely not right in the head. Anyone that knows me will tell you that there's something seriously wrong with my head. But anyway, I'm your host, Mad Trader. Hello. And as always, you've got to think about your trading, or trading in general, not just your trading in general, as a set of constant rules and constant abilities in order to be constant and or consistent. And that is, without a shadow of a doubt, consistency, time, money, and a reason. And what I mean is, you've got to be consistent in everything that you do, not just, if I see this candle set up and it breaks above on, it's a breakout, I'll go long, but I'm not really going to do that this time because, I just don't feel right. That's not how I perceive it. That's not how I see it. You've got to be consistent. If you trade breakouts and you see a breakout and a breakout happens, trade it. If you're the type of person who says, no, I don't think we're coming up for some little resistance, that we might not do it this time, so no, I won't get it, and you might miss out on the biggest mover of the decade, as one or two people have recently done, because of this lack of consistency. So you've got to be consistent in everything that you do. You have to give trades time, and that's all. Well, it comes in a few different flavors, but the time that you start trading has got to be consistent. Yes. But you've also got to give the trades time. So if you start a trade and you think, 20 minutes into it, no, it's going against me. No, can't be doing with it. No, let me get out. I've read online and everyone else on YouTube or Twitter or IG or whatever, they're all saying, cut your losses, or I'm 16 pips down, or I'll get out now. If you had given it a bit of time, probably it would have gone in your favour. Yes, if you get a signal to get out, then follow your strategy and get out. But that's the time factor. You've got to give it time. If it doesn't give you a signal to get out, leave it alone. You're happy to put that spread on. You're happy to put that amount on to lose your risk. Otherwise, you wouldn't have put the trade on unless you're mad and you're just putting it on because you're bored, which you shouldn't be doing. So, it either hits your stop loss because there's a massive candle up or down, or it gives you a signal to get out, so therefore you close it. Money, you've got to, first of all, have money to trade. You can't make any substantial amount of money trading with £500. You can't make any real difference in your monetary portfolio if you've only got £1,000 or £1,500. Personally, the minimum you would need to even make a dent monthly would be 10 grand ish. But I'm not telling you that you need to have 10 grand. It's all down to your personal experience, all down to you. If you've got 150 grand sat around because daddy was rich and he's just thrown a load of cash in and said, do what you want with it, it's your birthday money, then yeah, by all means, use 150 grand. If you've been saving up for 4 years and you've only really been able to save up 500 quid, don't trade. Trading's not going to make you rich. Trading's not going to get you a Lamborghini in a day, despite what you see on Instagram, Twitter, Discord, whatever it is, IG, whatever. Despite what you see there, it's not going to happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. And we'll go into a few people I've been looking at on IG and on YouTube and other video media streaming sites that are available. But also with money, you've got to be able to manage it. So risk and risk loss. You've got, if you've not heard of the RR ratio, risk reward ratio, look it up, Google it, or PM me. We'll have a chat. We'll sort something out. But risk reward ratio is the ratio that you have to know about. You've got to know about it. If you don't know about it, then it's pointless trading. Because if you've only got 10 grand and you say, do you know what, this is a perfect setup, this is an A1, 10-star setup, it's hit all my trading points, it's a breakout of this, it's got to go south. I've been looking at the news, everyone's selling it, I've been looking at this, we're going into depression, it's all going to go down. I'm putting 5 grand on this, I'm going for 20 quid, 30 quid, 50 quid a point, it's going south and it's going to go for at least 100 points. You're mad. So the money side of life is to risk your money in a safe manner. And I would advocate 1 or 2%, 3% if you're really good, no more than 3%. And that goes for everything. That goes for your, I'm just playing about, I've got 500 quid or £1,000 in the account, to I'm semi-serious, I've got 25 grand in the go, to 150 grand in my trading account, no more than 3% max. And that means that no matter what's happening, if you're on a one-to-one trade, so if you risk 1R to make 1R, a one-to-one risk-reward ratio, and you've got a positive expectant strategy, so in other words, your strategy will win more than 50% of the time. Excuse me. That is a positive strategy. That's a positive win rate. You're going to win 1R more times you're going to lose 1R. You might only win overall 2 or 3R a year. Not cool. But if that's your strategy, that's your strategy, and you'll win some money back. If you put 3% on one, then 1% on another, and then that didn't work out, so no, do you know what, I'm middle of the road, I'll put 2% on next time. Or you've had a string of winners and you go, boy, do you know what, I'm going to smash this, its back doors are going in right now, I'm putting 10% on, and it's a loser. All that good work you've done beforehand gets taken out the window, spanked, put a wet towel around its face, waterboarded, and put back in the shed. Because that's all you're going to do. You're going to waste your cash. The money management is key, and you have to allow yourself to be able to continue trading. So if you risk 2-3% each time, max, on each trade every time, then you know what you're going to win and you know what you're going to lose. And it's also consistency. You've got to be consistent in absolutely everything. And the reason, you've got to have a reason to enter the trade. So whatever your trade plan and strategy tells you, that's why you would enter. That's your reason. If XY divided by pi happens, then the reason that you would get out the trade is XY divided by pi. If you get a sell signal or a get out of the trade signal or a close signal, that's your reason to close the trade. Not beforehand, not afterwards, not after the fact. You don't think, do you know what, I'll leave it for a little bit. It might come back, it might come back. It never does. Very rarely does it. So you've got to have a reason. So consistency, time, money, and a reason. Straight back on to the alien outbreak thing. One of the reasons why I absolutely love this film is, one, I'm in it, so it's an amazing film because they managed to get me in it. But two, the director Neil Rowe and his good lady wife Amanda, they are consistent in their planning. They are guided by, the length of your foot happens, then we do this. And that's what happens in the film industry. Why not do it in trading? Plus, Alien Outbreak is an amazing film. My face is in it. I don't think you can see it. You might better see it on the trailer. I don't know what the legalities would be if I were to play the trailer, but have a look at that on Google through YouTube, and I'm sure you'll better see my ugly fizzog. You can't miss me, but when you do see me, you'll know it's me. Anyway, I'm all over it. You can't get out of it. Talking of lockdown and things going awry, I just have to deal with a little thing that's happening right now, just outside my office. I'm sure you can hear it. If you could be so kind as to give me a few seconds, I'll put some crappy music on for you to listen to, and I'll be back ever so shortly. Don't go nowhere. Maybe I won't put the crappy music on. I shall return momentarily. Okay, my cheese-eating surrender monkeys. So, not that you're all French, obviously, but one or two people from the French land have been in touch with me on my Facebook page, PM'd me, and I couldn't really answer their question. It was a bit of a strange question, and I don't really know the legalities of French law and spread betting. But anyway, yeah, I know I get a few people from France, a few people from Canada. By the way, the Canadians are amazing. They have the best accent ever. And there's a couple of people. Let me see if I can jump on to this guy that I'm gonna hit him out. Being the lunatic that I am, I pretty much look through YouTube whenever I get a chance. Anyway, where is it? Oh, there it is. You can see it now. So this is this is who I watch. All these lunatics. But this guy, Hunter FX, he's just funny. He's a funny Canadian chap. And if and when you get a chance, pop and have a look at his YouTube channel. He's a fun guy. So I'm not going to waste any more of your time. We're going to get through it. I've got a couple of things to go over. I'm going to get let's go to the very end first. I'm going to get this out of the way. There's a couple of people who are talking to me about a company called UCOG, UK Oil and Gas PLC. They are, I don't know why, but they seem to have a bit of a rod on for this company. And one or two people do message me and say, oh, where do you think this is going? What should I do about this? Well, for me, it's a nothing. Sit back and do absolutely, diddly shiz. It was a sell way back up here, break of structure going south. It's gone all the way down to 2,450. By the way, UK Oil and Gas are a gas exploration and drilling company. They suck oil and gas out of the ground, sell it in bulk, and then make a small profit. It is a small profit at the minute from several areas, and they're trying to drill more out the ground as we speak. But that's down. That's not even a touch. I would wait until you get a clear break of any resistance. If I could draw on this, I would, but I can't. I haven't got that ability just yet. I will do later. I get more than one subscriber, one person watching. But I know this gets watched because I record it at the same time. I know this gets watched by others at other times. So if there's a major move higher, then it might be worth looking for a buy, but it's got to be a major move higher. Or if oil suddenly shoots up to $80 and continues to go on the spike up, these might start to move on up a bit like Yaz. Was it Yaz that did move on up? Anyway, never mind. So a couple of things on my little booklet to talk about. So that's UCOG we've done. So let's go on with the DAX. DAX, absolutely amazing. Love this instrument to trade. It's an amazing thing to trade. It was the thing that got me going to start with. It was the first ever instruments and indices, by the way, if you didn't know what it was. Hopefully you do. The first ever instrument indices that got me profitable. And I won't go over my actual strategy, but I'll tell you for why. I love black fizzy things. So I'll do it. I used to taste. I used to take breakouts of major structure. To me, a major structure was 2 or 3 touches, minimum of 2, or more. Could be 5, 10, 12, 100. You know, never one. There was 2 or more touches. So if we could draw a line between here and here, that would be 2 touches. Obviously, we're seeing it at this point here. If and when then price broke above that, held and retouched, I was off. So it was a break of this structure and a retest, off. Not now, obviously not this time. We'll go on to the live charts in a minute or two, but that was a bit of a, this was this year. This is, I trade very differently in a minute. But that's how I used to do it, and I would leave it, and I wouldn't get out of it until major structure to the left was broken. So, for instance, if this had occurred way back when I started, so when I started 8-9 years ago, but profitable 6-7 years ago, when this structure was broken, and you better see here, let's draw a line. Oh, it's coming to a point. It's coming to a point where it keeps on retesting. It's going to break through, and I would just get out, regardless of what actually happened. I'd get out, but then. Look at this, there's market structure again, it breaks through it, that's the breakout, it comes back down to retest it, and I was back in again. Then this is the next structure high, it breaks it. When it breaks back below this, or comes down to retouch this, I would have been out. And it's, excuse me, there's big money on the table, big moves on the table, big points on the table, and you take a portion of that. You can never get 100% of the move 100% of the time. There are 1 or 2 people, excuse me, coronavirus. There's 1 or 2 people who report that they can do that, or they show on their streams or their YouTube videos or their Facebook pages or their Instagram pages that, look at that, I got in on this trade, 3 pips at the bottom, and I've just taken profits now, and it's they say that, and then the picture is uploaded like an hour and a half later, and it just so happens that they, where they took profit was the very top to the pip. And, they're going to say later on, well, I didn't tell you then, but I'm telling you now, I got in on a short now, and it's gone back down to market structure, blah, blah, blah. So you can't make 100% of the move. It just doesn't happen. Can't happen. I don't know any other trader that I know, and I know a couple. I don't know any other trader that can do that. We take the middle portion of any trade. That's what we do at the very best. So on a 1,000-point move, we might get 600, 700 points, maybe 800 points. So between this point here and this point here, if this was a straight line, we don't get out here and get in down here. We get in here and we get out here. So what's that? That'd be a good, maybe even 70% of the move. We never make 100% of the move. Can't do it. But anyway, DAX, when we go into live trades, let me just put that down. When we go into the live market, I'll show you a couple of latent trades that we've taken here in Mad Trading. What's the next one? Next one is spot gold, love gold. It's not a big mover. I mainly trade it on the 15-minute or hourly, but just to let you know, you can have big moves on gold. So if you were a breakout trader, and forget this big red line, that's a historical trend line from ages ago, probably last year. If you forget this line and this was your bottom line here, when it broke below this line, this bit here, came up to retest it, There's absolutely nothing wrong with when it retests, it then breaks below this bit here, get in, go short. There's your next structure. Right, sorry, there's your next structure, breaks it, there's your next structure, it breaks it, there's your next structure, but at this point, where are you going to put your stop? Above it. So you've made between this bit and this bit. And you've risked, I would have suggested, between here and here. Because if it goes back up again, it can do what it did here. Go back up and then fall back over. So you can make big moves on gold, even on a 15-minute. And yes, you've got to have a decent account size to make those big moves and that big money. It's not 50 pence, pound a point gain on gold. It doesn't move huge swings. It can do. You leave it long enough, but then you're going to be paying, commissions and swaps. So what's the point in losing out on that? You might as well have just bought a company that does gold on shares, for £5, £6 a trade, whatever it costs you and your company, and then sell the share to that company when it gets too high. Fizzy stuff. Anyway, so gold. At the minute, my preference is if it breaks above this 1735 level, it'll probably make its way to 1750. I was listening to a podcast this morning, funnily enough, from a guy who was in gold, and when I say in gold, he was I think he was he a gold broker? Anyway, he was doing something with gold, and his thoughts and theory on it was that it's going to drop off, it's going to fall over, and it's going to fall over to around about 1500. And he might be right. But bear in mind, brokers and hedge funds and all these people that you might take information from are there to make money. So if they say it's going down to 1500 and everybody sells, retail traders, those of us that have got the retail cash, retail traders sell, the banks, the hedge funds and the market makers go, what they're doing? Buy it. And they buy everything that you're trying to sell. And because you're trying to do a transaction, you've got to stop somewhere. I don't mean you've got to stop physically. You will have a stop loss somewhere. And they know it. They know where it is. It's usually above the highs. So let's go for here, around about this 1740. If you're really, no, this is definitely going down, you might have it above the 1750, above the major highs. But they'll just take it up, take you out, and then follow down. So don't just blindly jump on a trade and go, well, the experts that are in gold are saying it's going to go down, so I'm going to sell. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not the thing to do. But gold, I love it. I think it's very profitable. There's a chap that I used to watch on what is it? I used to watch him on, not YouTube. What's it called? No, I'll find it on my phone. No, not Instagram. Why can't I find it? Not Twitter. Anyway, can't remember what it is. It's another one of those media things, social media malarkeys. Anyway, Sebastian Derby's name is. Have a look for him on whatever. I think it's Cartel FX or FX Cartel, whatever it is. And a mate of mine, who shall remain nameless, he kind of got me into looking at him. I no longer watch him anymore. I don't think. I think I got rid of the app, but it might actually be Instagram. Anyway, that might be why I can't see it. So I was looking at him, and he had some major trades. He was, according to him, he was making 300-point move and coming off with 40-50 grand. Good on him. You can't do a 300-point move on gold, not on a normal market. On MT4 you can, but that's not a 300-point move. That's a 30-point and a fraction. move. 30 points in MT4 speak is 300 points because they use the last zero as a fraction of the number. So right now, and I use a company called IG.com, IG Trades, IG Financial. They're also tradable, but anyway, I'm not affiliated. Use them, don't use them, not bothered. But on here, 17.35.56 would be the current. This is recent. The current spot market gold price. On MT4, I've absolutely no idea. I don't use MT4, but I'm guessing there'd be an extra zero on that, and I don't know where the decimal point would be. But let's say that it's where it is. So it would be 17.35.560 would be the MT4 price. I'm guessing. I don't know. Might be wrong. And their 300 point move is actually only 300. It is only 30 points. So 17.35.56, a 300 point move for them in either direction, let's say it's long, would be 17.35.86 for me, but they'd be up at 860. See what I'm saying? So they might get a 300 point move, and probably legitimately, probably accurately, probably, actually doing that. I don't know what, pound per point that would be, or they don't use pound per point, whatever. Lot size, there you go, it is on MT4, I've no idea. But if that's what they're making, good on them. And if that's what you want to do, crack on. Go and see them, do their trading course. No idea what it's called. Don't even know how much it would cost. And go and do that. I don't do that. I do a purely mechanical set. Very rarely do I go in on market. It's a set order. And then I walk away. I'll come back. If I'm on the 15-minute, I'll come back 15 minutes later. If I've got a signal to get out, then I get out. Simple as. But gold, good mover. I like it. Excuse me. This company called Diploma PLC. Never heard of it. Don't actually know what they do. Go and Google it. I'm sure Google will be able to tell you all about it. But they popped up on my radar because IG give you a list of the biggest movers of the day, week, and all that good stuff, and they just happen to be this massive move down. And you might be able to see on the side, we've got some moving averages moving downwards. That just indicates they're going on a downwards journey. It's crossing here, so it looks like it might be moving up. So it did. It made a fake out here because there's a gap up, fake about, gap down. So we don't take the gap up data, we take from the close, and it's roughly this line here that I'm trying to draw along. Anyway, there was a major breakup above that, a sustained breakup, because this is the 1 hourly sustained break above. It retested, faffed about for a bit on the 1600 level, round numbers, always good. And then broke up. So I had a buy order on just above the 1600, and I got taken in round about here. But my stop's down here somewhere, so quite safe. Faffed about, went up, and to the left, the structure left. It's around about. It's not even that one. It faked it. It's around about here. So I took partial profits here. Next structure is up here at these highs. So I waited until these were sustained lows. They weren't. Excuse me, but it failed to make a higher high. So I got out around about the 1720 mark, I think it was. Anyway, so Diploma. And I've got this one on screen because don't just stick to Forex. Don't just stick to gold indices. Don't just do oil and gas. Don't just do the big companies, BP, Shell, Centrica. Don't think of the companies that are here for long term, buy and sell those. Think of others. Think outside the box. Find another company or share or commodity that you don't normally trade and look at it. Because whatever your system is, your strategy is, it might work. And it might work really, really well. So just do it, try it. If you're a trader, you're going to be risking, managing your risk anyway. So it's not as if you're going to go bust by doing it. And if you make a decent trade and you make some decent points on it, well done, crack on, do it again. Same for Zanaga ore. This was a fantastic trade, a one-to-one trade, and I've still got some on the table. I took off. What did I take off? I took off because I was short. I got 8% of a trade. Anyway, I got out when or getting out, should I say, if and when this breaches the other high to the left-hand side. But this is a trade that I should have put on, but didn't. And let me just have a quick look at the analytics. I can see there's only one lunatic watching. That might even be the stats for me. I'm not entirely sure. I'm watching my own stream on the YouTube thing, so it might even be me. But anyway, later down the line, so in the future, if you're watching this, have a think of this, right? Go back to Zanaga Iron Ore. Go back to any other company you want and do this exact thing that I'm about to tell you. There is a major move down. And yes, it's on the 4 hourly because anything lower than that, you can't see the candles. They're just blips. Go to the daily, whatever you want to do. There's a major move down. It's a sustained move down. It's not even, the price has not closed above any substantial moving average at all. Nothing. And I don't go with golden crosses. I don't do other bits and bobs. I do for companies, I do a breakout, or I do a breakout retest and breakout again. So anyway, so let's look at this. So here was some sustained sideways activity, and if we were to take a line, in fact it's there, this risk reward line, if we were to take a line, it's just above that actually, underneath all of these, and cuts through the middle of this downward spike, which isn't really a spike, it's a 4 hour candle, that would take you to roughly where I get in. And if it can break above that, which it did, and then retests, and it breaks back above that line, so remember there was 2 points of confluence, there was 2 reasons to get in for this. It broke above, sustained it. If it had gone above this point, I'd have been in again. So went down and touched it. If it had not broken below but touched it and shot up, I'd have been in. As it was, it came back into the zone and then it broke back out again. So I'm in here. Put a 1-to-1 risk reward on. It made it. I should have taken this trade, definitely. Excuse me. It made it. And my risk was down to 0. Because 6.12, is that 6 pence? And something? 6.12 pence? Anyway, down at 0. To just risk 100 quid just to give it a, is that going to work? Is that actually how it works? Well, yeah, it is actually, because £16.12 per point means if you lose, you're losing £100. If you win, you win £100. It's only 6.12 points. It's nothing. But these small companies, these small caps, they're the ones that can make you the big cash. And I don't mean only doing £100 risk, because this is just a tiny little, for show. I should have got in on this trade. Anyway, never mind, I won't beat myself up. I can't, I'm too soft. But if you had a 50 grand account, 1% risk on a 6.12 point stop loss, or pip stop loss, or however you want to call it, that's ridiculous. That's like, what's 50? I don't even know what that would be. But let's go for £500. That would be that times 5 as your points. So yeah, this might only be £100 and that might only be £100, but just times that by 5. So you got 500 quid on 6 point move. Anyway, again, another one of those ones that should probably keep an eye on. I don't mean Zanaga, I mean the small caps, the companies that are very small, they're very cheap. They're very easy. Not penny stocks. I'm not a penny stock pusher. I don't do that. Don't do it. But a sustainable company that's been around for a while, that's obviously been on hard times, and iron ore, isn't flavour of the month at the minute. It might change. You never know. But yeah, it's companies like that. Find one that's small, that's definitely less than 50p. But if you find it and you see that breakout, don't hesitate, do it. You're gonna lose maybe 100 quid, maybe 50 quid. Don't even do that. 25 quid. And if it works and you make your 1-to-1, one risk, one reward, then you've just doubled your risk. You've just doubled your the money that you've put on this trade. You've doubled your risk. As in, you've doubled your risk in reward. So you've risked, 1%. You've now made 1% back, and it's an easy percentage gain. Gazprom, big movers, back up onto the big boys. So currently sat at around about 638. Let me look at the board. 638. Yes, as of today, 638.40 in profit. I took the majority of my trade off at the 400 level. I was in at just above the 700, as you can see there. Purely because of bad news. I don't advocate trading the news. I don't do news trades normally, but there's a purely bad news story going on here. Coronavirus. I work a full-time job. I have a full-time job in an industry that allows me to see what's about to happen from a consumer point of view, shall we say. And it was quite easy to see that from a consumer point of view, there was going to be less need for Gazprom. That, if they can't go out and do what it is they do, then they're not going to make any money, and it's going to go down. Anyway, it looked as though to me, let me move across. It looked as though to me that it was about to, because of this candle right here, it was about to cross below this resistance. Well, you can't see it, but this golden resistance line here. So these lows and these lows, you put a line between them. If and when it was going to cross below it and retouch, which it would have, it did just here, you sell. I preempted it because of this. It's a bearish rejection after a gap, so it gapped up, bearish rejection, gap down. I don't know what day it is, and I just saw that. I think it was it a couple of days later? Was this on day? Yeah, it was a couple of days later. Saw it, thought, sod it, I'm not going to be able to trade for the next couple of days, so I just jumped in at market. Very rare I do that, and I think I got the very bottom of that candle. Could have gone up, could have took me out, no biggie, but it didn't. It fell over. Took the majority. It was, let me look at the board. I took 81% off at 400, and I've left the rest on. That's a good move from Gazprom for me. That's a good, decent set of winnings for the account. Currently, I will be keeping hold of the rest of this until I either retouch and breach this 700 level, or just below 700 level, or something else happens. Major news about them, because when I'm in a trade, I'll set up a ticker to show me the news. If there's major news about it and it's positive, I'll go. I'll take my cash, no biggie. My stop is just here anyway. I might move my stop up slightly later on tonight, but as you can see, it's just about to take me out anyway, but it might fall over, you never know. So that is Gazprom. Britvic PLC, these loons, wow. I guess what this was. The virus. Yeah, the virus. COVID-19, coronavirus. The Wuhan flu, whatever you want to call it. And currently there's a bit of discussion going on, isn't there, about whether it is from Wuhan or not. In certain circles, I don't get involved in that gumph. I pretty much, yeah. Well, I don't get involved in that rubbish. Or whether it's called the Wuhan flu or the coronavirus or COVID-19, or whether it came from a secret weapons facility in Hong Kong and was shipped out by some spies and thrown into the middle of a market, and then someone said, "Don't eat that bat," and it all went Pete Tong. You know, I'm not part of the conspiracy theorists. Either way, this is coronavirus. Britvic are a drinks manufacturer, and they do a lot of drinks. Soft drinks, hard drinks, weird drinks, pink sparkly drinks, dark fizzy drinks. I do like a dark fizzy drink. Hold on, stand by. Dark and fizzy. Yeah, so because the pubs had been shut and you weren't allowed to go out drinking, and for God knows why, people were buying shit roll in their thousands, and they weren't really buying soft drinks, soft juice, although that's what we were trying to buy. Production halted, or was halted, because these are factories where there's a couple of people, I would have imagined, all in close proximity, wearing those weird white hair nets and beard nets and moustache nets and all sorts of nets, fish nets, whatever. They weren't allowed to be together, so production was severely reduced at least, and then supply ran out because no one was buying it. So why order it if no one's buying it? Plummet. If you're a candle trader, this looks like a reversal. If you'd have got in on that, you'd have been out. This looks like a major candle reversal. If you'd have got in on that, you probably, if you'd have waited till the top of that, you might be alright. But if not, if you got in there, so no, that's definitely going down, and you had to stop down here somewhere, 100 points away or 50 points away, you'd have been out. Me, I wait for the break of structure. There's other bits and bobs. I'm not going to give you my strategy. I tried that a few months ago last year, actually, on YouTube, and no one took me up on it. It was an easy one. It seems like everyone's jumped on the bandwagon since then. We'll talk about Lady P in a minute or two, but I gave my strategy to a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, and the wives, and she's doing very, very well on this. She passed the FTMO challenge just after Christmas. Very well deserved. That is to her and her family. Anyway, she's doing well on that. Since then, because I've not been on flipping YouTube for ages, it seems though everyone's doing the FTMO challenge. It seems though everyone's talking about it. Even that Hunter FX is doing the FTMO challenge. Good on him. Hope he does well. Good on everyone that does it. Hope you all do well. There's around about 70% of people who try it fail. And I think they fail on average something like 3 times. I think you only pay it once, but you have to do it 3 times to get the 10%. My strategy is not for the faint-hearted. You can't do it if you're not in front of the computer all the time. Yes, you can do it once or twice a day, but that's definitely not a 10% a month gain unless you have a seriously large account. So thankfully, on the £100,000 FTMO challenge, you get £100,000. There's a couple of rules allegedly that go with it, and as long as you follow those rules and you do your trades between certain times and not trade when there's other things going on, then it's all good. Lady P, not a real name, obviously, but Lady P did it on a couple of lower time frames, which is decent, but 1 or 2 higher time frames, 4 hourly, daily, on some obscure things, and it's only Forex, I believe. So she did some obscure forex trades and nailed it within time. I think she did. If you're watching this down the line, Lady P, get in touch with me. Let me know whether I'm right or not. But I think it was 18 days, 19 days. Managed to do it on him, and very much within the limits. From what I remember, although I'm getting on a bit, so my memory's a bit weird, and I'm mad, obviously. I think maybe it was about a $3,000 max drawdown. Anyway, it was pretty good. And as long as I'm not giving it to you, but as long as that person or anyone that has my strategy follows the strategy, you would have got into this trade, you'd have made a bit of cash, and you'd still be in the money. But it's not about the money, it's about risk. And we've gone through UCOG, so that can bite me. So, yeah, UCOG, weirdies that they are. We've had enough of that. So anyone that is interested in UCOG, I've said it, you can stop watching now. Audible Alan and a couple of other lunatics. You're not horrible, but I can't really say your real name. So A for Alan, A for Anal Al. There you go. You can do what you need to do. Who else are we going to look at? Let's look at USDCHF, just to go through a few things. On the hourly, there's nothing happening. Daily, it's just one of those markets. The US chef, it just goes sideways. Apart from this big mad dip, which probably would have taken me into a short, but I'd have been taken out. I just don't like trading it very often. If we look at a 15-minute through a daily, yes, that would have been a semi-decent trade. Yeah, a break below, retouch and back in again, but it all depends on where you want to put your take profit or what your strategy says, to take profit. There's nowhere here for me to put it, so it would have been a set and forget and walk away, see what else we can do. Let's look at pound yen. Pound yen is a definitive downtrend, certainly on the hourly. If we look at the daily, you can see that it's been coming down since the early January 18. Bit of a blip, fake out, down we go. This was a decent enough trade for me. You could call this head and shoulders, a very weird head and shoulders, but left shoulder, big head, right shoulder, and fall over. It didn't breach above these for much longer, fake out, and down it goes. But it's a breakout. It's a instant breakout on the daily. It didn't retouch, it didn't test, it just went for it. So a breach of this with no retouch is a bit risky. But on these types, I'll go to the lowest point that I can see on the left hand side, and I'll go for the body, I don't go for the wick. So the body on the left was here, 12,707, in roughly 14,145. Take those points, thank you very much. Not the weekends, I'm looking at later on. DAX have been through, gold have been through, Amazon. Now, I don't trade Amazon purely because you've got to have a major amount of money in your account in order to trade it. That being said, I was talking to I want to say friend, might not be a friend, you might think. Well, I might be thinking that we're friends and we're actually not. But anyway, I was talking to a chap that I know. And whilst talking to him, I'm looking at other trades. I'm looking at the market. I'm looking at other things that I can do. Because I can do that, I can multitask, strangely. I'm probably part woman, part dolphin, definitely part idiot, and part man. I don't know which part of me is the man, but I'm definitely parts of that. So whilst I'm talking to him, let's call him, what do we call you? I don't know, we'll call it something later. Anyway, I'm looking at this thinking, right, there's the high, it's touched 220k, 220,000. it's come down, or it's coming down. Here's the stochastic down here. I don't trade stochastics. I don't trade because it's overbought or oversold. If you look at this bit here, that would have been overbought. You'd have gone short, and you've gotten maybe a little bit of a move. But if you were thinking for this move down, you'd have been very much mistaken. What I use stochastics for is divergence and convergence. So here's convergence. Two are converging. So that is high stochastic, lower stochastic, high price, lower price. Go short when your trading system tells you to, obviously. Go short, you'd have made a packet. Excuse me. Don't go short just because the stock has crossed or come below this 80 line, because it didn't really move anywhere. It went down a little bit of a blip, and by the time it crossed, it didn't cross, but by the time it gets to the 20 line, it's bounced back up again and it's taking you out, or you're in negative. Anyway, major high, major high, major high, major high. It's broken that major high here, and price is on its way down. If in the future price were to, because Amazon's massive, it's huge. Is it thinking of buying like 30 odd airplanes or something daft? I might be wrong. I usually am. To make it cheaper, make it 20% cheaper to fly their own cargo than to put it out for tender. Anyway, whatever it is, they're a massive company. So me and my thoughts are, if price breaches above this line, let's call it 203 for simplicity. If it breaches above 203, I want to see a retest of it, or if it's a major push up, I want to see my own strategy entry rules be met, and I'll be in. And this is what I'm thinking of when I'm talking to me mate. And it goes above it, obviously, because we can see this bit here, which looks like a massive move, doesn't it? It's not compared to the next move. But it breaches above it, comes back down again. I'm waiting for it to come up, touch, come back down, and go back up again. Doesn't do that, it just powers straight through. It powers straight through this line here. But as it turns out, in April, my entry criteria for my strategy were met. There was a, where you better see it, around about here on these candles here, would have been my entry line. I don't just blindly set and forget on these. It touched it, it breached above, it came down, touched it again. The next candle is the giveaway, and then the next candle was also the next giveaway. I don't enter on these, I entered on the top of this one, took me in, keep on going. I'm currently in this one on a different provider, not because IG aren't good, but I get different entry pricing for this. And in order to do it, let's go for 50 pence a point. Let's say you wanted to sell it now, it's going to cost you 24 grand to get in, and that's at 5 pence a point. That's just the margin, so you need a minimum of that in your account just to get in. Even if you only had a £1,000 stop, or 1,000 point stop, sorry, which is 500 quid, you need 24 grand in your account to do it. So I don't do these very often, but when I see the big major moves up, I will get myself in if needed. We've been through these, and Britvic, don't want to talk about Sainsbury's, that's boring. Copper, so London Sugar. How long have I been going for now? An hour and 6. Right, we'll be gone in a minute, don't worry about it. So London Sugar. Out to the dailies. Major moves from 2016. It's just been on a down sweep. If we stick a trend on this, from the highs of, the highs of 2016 to the lower high in 2017, it breached this point here. To me, that is a major point that it's broken. If this top here in 2018 had just touched it and moved away, we probably would have been going down even further. Can't go down much further because obviously sugar costs. So when it breached this, I was looking for entry long. That is a major move up. That's a rebound. I'm going to take some of my profits. I've been short, not me, this is major institutions. I've been short since here, and I've got X amount of million on the table through XYZ Bank. I'm going to take my profit. So when they take the profit, everyone else follows suit, and it'll pop up to this line here. Well, the line was drawn afterwards, obviously, because it's 2018. And it's gone the other way. Usually, things move up slowly and fall down sharply. This has gone the other way. If you look at it from this perspective, oh, get out of it. Things move up slowly and fall down sharply. Move up slowly, well, that's a big move up, and then fall down sharply. Here, is doing it the other way around. I mean, that's a slow move up, grind up, big fall down. But that's a big sharp move up, sharp move down. So that to me gives me a little bit of a flutter. That tells me something's going on. The next time it does it is here. It's a big sharp move up, but then a slow move down. Big sharp move up, big sharp move down. Doesn't breach the lows. Big sharp move up, big sharp move down, doesn't breach the lows. I'm interested, very interested. So I put it's 360 still there, look, and I put a watch on here, and what I want is for this to breach this 360, retouch, and then move away. So not too far ago, not too long ago, it touched it, and on a lower time frame you better see it better. Touched it, moved away, touched it and breached, came up, came back down, touched it, I'm in. I'm buying it. I'm buying it on the breach of this candle here, which happened to be, the next one took me in by like 5-6 points or something. My stop happens to be a good 30 points away down here somewhere, and it just flung off. And this is one of those where I need to set profits because there's nothing here. There's a big major open gap. And if we look left, this ended up in the middle of here. It might have even come up to this point, but I think when I was looking at it, it was all the way up here somewhere. So I had to take profits. So it's a minimum of 1 to 3. I take 50% off. Move stops to break even. And then I strategically moved my stop up. As it turns out, I got taken out on this candle here for a good move up. That's not a huge amount of money, but as I'm strategically moving so I took 50% off up here somewhere, got the rest of it to go, and I get cash back out again. But London Sugar is one of those ones where it will move quite violently on the daily, weekly not so much. Monthly, you better see it's doing this major push up, slow move down, major push up, major push down, quick up, quick down. Something wrong, but it's always done it. If you move down to the 15-minute, you better see this. If just where you can see there, 950, 900, 200, 800. These are just things to look at. This 800 line for me is the trend information. So it is a downtrend when price breaches below the 800. So I will look for candles, double tops, double bottoms, to get into trades on a downtrend or an uptrend if it's above the 800. If you had a system that said here is a high, it breaches that high, comes back down, retests and breaches again, I'm in, but I want to have my stop somewhere. How about this low here? So let's say it's here, 330, you got in on the break of this at 346, at 345, that's 15 points. There's nothing, people, it's 15 points. Currently up at 353, so you'd have been in the money unless you'd had to take profit all the way up there. And last one, we're going to look at oil. Oil has been the bane of my existence. Let me get rid of that. I don't need that anymore. It's been the bane of my existence for some time. It has been something that has made me a lot of money, but also lost me a lot of money. It's something that has been way back when. Let me go back to when was that? Yeah, about mid. Let's go for here roughly September, October time. 14. It made me a good, decent bit of profit on these moves. Didn't do anything on this 15. Things happened in 2015. Moved down again, made me some more profit, but then lost quite a bit on this. Probably lost a good 50% of what I made earlier on this move in 16. 19 was an absolute cow. So from roughly here to roughly here, all that sideways movement, that just made chop, make a little bit, chop about, lose a little bit, chop about, make a little bit, though, no, I've lost a little bit, make a little bit, oh, bugger me, I've lost a bit. And obviously we know what this is. It's not Brexit anymore, but the coronavirus has a lot to answer for. But since, not my new strategy, that's the wrong way of putting it, but since looking at things differently and implementing a strategically set and forget strategy, looking at it on the daily, once a day, it has made decent moves and returns. This at the minute looks to be a buy to 3948 or 3968, depending on who you talk to. If there's going to be a gap close, so there's this major gap that's been made through coronavirus. This was roughly coronavirus starting, yes, it was on its way down. Around about here, OPEC decided, no, we need to have oil down at $26 a barrel. Talking to my very good friend, Tiny Tom E, who might be watching this later. He's working currently. I told him, I think it was about here, might be the 4th or 5th hour. I told him, no, don't buy all stocks. Don't think this is the bottom. It can go lower. Everything can go lower. I can go lower. I'm not going to, but I can go down. As well as up, then down, and up, then down, and up, then down. A couple of people will tell you that. Especially those type from Plymouth. Anyway, don't buy it because it can go down. What happens? $26 on the nose, roughly, because OPEC said we need oil down at $26 a barrel. So it just moves down to $26 a barrel. There's some faffing about. I think the Russians got involved in an argument, and then Qatar were all involved. There was people moaning and bitching about. It touched this line, which is this line here. If we can move out, blimey, is 2 touch points from here. That's all it is. History repeats. So it moved back up again and touched it to the T. Twice. This is IG data, not live, not real time data, but real data. This candle actually touched this line, 5655 and a bit. This one definitely touched it. I think on IG it went through it slightly, but real data it touched it. So it makes sense. No matter where you go, you're going to touch it again. And the majority of people that I've spoken to who are doing this, trying to learn how to trade for a living, whatever that means, they've been taught third touch is the golden touch and sell or buy, depending on which way the candle is. So if this is the third touch and you've sold, you would have made quite a lot of money. First touch, second touch, third touch, boom. Fourth touch is the king of all trades, allegedly. So on the fourth touch, if it doesn't breach it, you sell it. If you'd have sold that, you've had your stop above here. What's happened? Price has come along, and if it didn't take out and stops on this one, it's definitely taking out and stops on that one, and it looks as though it might be going up higher, but you can't say that. You can't say it's definitely going to go higher. It might actually make 40, might actually make 39.86, or it could tomorrow, because Monday, sorry, because it's Friday today. It could Monday open up below this line and then continue south again. I also do some candlestick trading. This is a good candle to trade on the daily at least. If we look at the 4 hourly from today, this is a candle that would have been traded on. You may have gotten some profit, you may not. You may have been stopped out. So at the minute, because of volume and because of uncertainty and the way that the oil and gas industry is at the minute, Brent crude, which is the British equivalent of the WTI, West Texas Intermediary, British oil, Brent oil is not tradable as far as I can see on candles alone. Price action maybe, but you have to be balls deep in it. If this is the high, if this is all you can see now, and that's the high, and you said, right, it also links up with something on the left hand side, so if it breaches that, I'm going to go long, and I want my stop down here. That's a 300 point move. Is it? Is that 300 points? Where's my measuring tool? So from the bottom of that to the top of that, 350. Wow. So even at £1 a point, that's 350 quid stop loss. And it will look like you're going to get stopped out. Most people would have said, sorry, I'm out, and close the trade. Can't do that. But as it happens, it breaches this high here and just keeps on going. And has gone, and has gone, and has gone again. And now if it comes back, if it goes up to this point, comes back down, touches and gives a rejection wick off of 3662, I would imagine that most people would be thinking, now is the time to trade to that gap close. And you might be right. Oil might be getting to $45 a barrel, and it could be for several reasons. One, major oil and gas operators seem to be losing the will to live and leaving the British North Sea. Other operators around the world are closing down operations, are losing contracts because they've not started the drilling process, or they're not hiring, they haven't got the cash or the manpower because of COVID to get the other drilling operators out and about to drill the wells for them. If you read into these well management reports, because I'm a sorry sod, and I do sometimes, if you read into these, they don't have the capital or the people to get these other jobs done. And if they can't get the other jobs done, it's pointless starting their next job. You just can't do it. And jobs that have been booked for months' time, 2 months' time, 3 months' time are all on hold. But contracts are contracts, and if they're not used up within a certain amount of time, you pay a get out fee, and you just don't do it. And sometimes it's cheaper to pay the get out fee and walk away. Sometimes it's cheaper to let that contract run out and not pay any workers because no one's there. And so coronavirus has a lot to answer for. So does Russia, China, most definitely, and a couple of other countries and continents around the world need to answer to the oil and gas industry. So anyway, I've rabbited on for nearly 80 minutes. The last thing I'm going to do, the last thing I'm going to give you this. The last thing I'm going to do is, no matter what trading platform you use, be it IG, be it FXCM, be it MT4, whatever it is, find a way to quickly and easily see if you've got a trade coming up on on something, on whatever you want. And on IG, because that's who I use, if you click on FX or indices or cryptos or wherever you're doing, and click on majors, minors, metals, let's go for Scandinavians. Very rarely I'll trade them. Let's go for let's go for hourlies. You can quickly look at this and say, no, there's no trade for me. Next one, USD NOK. It'll stay on the hourly. No, there's no trade for me. Pound NOK. No, nothing there for me. Euro NOK. No, there's nothing there for me. USDs. DKK. I don't even know who DKK is, but anyway, that's a potential short. So if I think I might go on it, I'll put a little note. I'll stick it on my workspace. I'll look at it the next trading day. Euro SEX, that's already breached. That's gone below. That's a break. I can't get on that. No trade. So no matter what it is that you want to trade, just quickly go through it. Don't spend hours trying to look through every single one and set up trading lines and plot this and plot that and put Fibonacci's, which I used to do, and that was, ridiculous. Same again with indices, and there are a lot of indices for you to trade. A lot. Forget Wall Street. Let's look at Wall Street, because for me, anyway, that's a 3 point, well, nearly a 3 point, 2.5 point, roughly. The difference between these two numbers is the spread. And if I want to put an order on, minimum for me is 50 pence. Let's go for down there. I want to sell it, even at 50 pence a point with no stop. That's 629 quid in margin that I would need. I've got that just up here, but I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. That would take up, can't work it out in my head, but that would take up a small amount of my margin that I might use for something else. If I put my stop up here, that's nearly 340 quid stop. Before I even think about where my limit's going to go, my limit might go down to the 800, yeah, I might make 500, and yeah, that might be a 1 to 1.6 ratio. It's not even a 1 to 2. 1 to 2 would be there, but if price gets there, it would be a freaking miracle. Certainly at this price, because I've got to put it somewhere. If I put price where it is now, it would automatically get me in. There's got to be a 25,195. Got to be below that for me to get in. Anyway, never mind. So forget the big numbers. Look at these numbers here for sell and buy. Look at the small numbers. So the volatility index, the VIX. Absolutely amazing. 0.16 spread on this. Yes, it is currently, but I wouldn't. It's a Friday. This would take you through how volatile an indices is. It's very volatile itself. I don't suggest you play with it unless you know exactly what it is you're talking about. But you can trade these break and retests when it breaks below. This is a fake, obviously, but it's giving you clues as to where it's going to go. And as a break of this, might not retest it for some time. Here, for example, a break retests it over here with a bit of a fake out, then go short. As if you're happy to do that. Me, I would be. It was below the 800, even though the 800 is on an uptrend. I'd be happy to do that, but you need a minimum of 50 pence a point. Let's go with long buy. You only need 3 quid. So from this, please take this from me. Go to other people on YouTube. Go and chat to them in IG, that's Instagram or Discord or Twitter or whatever the hell you want to do. Go and chat to people. And if they're telling you, no, you need to get onto the US 500, you want to do the techies, you want to get onto the Germany mid-cap 50s, big numbers, have big moves, that's what you need. Yeah, it's not. It's not, it really isn't. Cut your teeth on the small numbers. Cut your teeth on something that isn't going to cost you an arm and a leg to lose in. Then when you're happy and you're profitable and you're decent at it, then get in on the trade and go for the big numbers. Don't do it because everyone else is telling you to do it. Don't do what I'm saying. Don't even bother trying to get in touch with me and say, Mad, can I have your trading strategy, please, pretty please? Because one, I'm not really going to give it you unless I know you. Number two, if I give it to you, there's a contract that comes with that. And that contract says that at no time am I liable for any losses that you might incur doing this. Bear that in mind. People will say, here, have my knowledge, but at no time am I liable for anything that goes wrong. It's all on you, and you have to have the education and the correct knowledge in order to implement this. If you don't know what a candle is, or if you've only ever spoken to someone who says you need to use these lunatic where's it gone? There we go. Sort of types. I can't even pronounce it properly, but Haikanashi candles. Yeah, you should only use Haikanashi. Or no, what you need is just a mountain. That's all you want. And you go off the mountainside there. Yeah, this mountain was at 29.60. This bright. Keep your eye right there. Go back to candlesticks. What the fuck? What price actually went up there? So if you'd have put your stop loss there, you'd have been out. What are you talking about? But if that's how they trade, that's how they trade. Don't trade by doing exactly what someone else tells you to do. You should be learning the stuff for yourself. So you don't know what a candle is, you don't know what the HLOC means, which is high, low, open, close, by the way. If you didn't know any of that, then don't bother trading. Go and work this stuff out for yourself, and then get yourself a decent, profitable trading system or strategy. Implement it with, what do we say? Implement it with consistency. Give it time. You have to have money in the game. You've got to do it decent. You can't do it with a £500,000. You've got to have proper money going, but you also need to manage your money. And you've got to have a reason for entry and a reason for exit. I've been mad trader. It's been absolutely appalling and abysmal to talk to you because no one's been chatting. Hopefully next time I'll get more than just one lunatic, which is me, watching. If you want any information, if you want to go over any certain trades or trading algorithms or trading journals or trading journeys, if you want some information that's non-specific, in other words, don't say, Mad, can you tell me, would you go long on this? Copper. I really want to trade copper, and it's not that expensive, but yeah, should I go long now? I'm not going to tell you. I ain't got a clue. Even if I was in a trade, I'm not going to say, because I don't do signals, I don't do signal service. I'm not going to say, yes, when it breaches, 5442, you need to be long on that, and I'll put a 1 to 3 stop on. So 1 stop, 3 take profit. I'm not going to tell you that. Not unless you're a very good friend of mine and I like you and I'm there to help you make money. Oh, before I do go, because obviously I said I was going to talk about this, and Lady P might be listening. I won't go through the whole story, but Lady P's journey through the FTMO challenge was exciting, I would imagine. Lady P's children wanted to get on the action, although too young to actually gamble, because spread betting is gambling. What they could do was make life a little bit easier so that Lady P could, of an evening and during the day whilst Lady P's children were away at school, could actually get some trading done. So there was a small verbal contract drawn up, and I remember talking to Lady P about this. Her 3 boys were given an option. You either stay out of the office, or and you don't interfere, you don't talk to, you don't come and badger mommy. You either stay out of the office and then leave me alone, or you do the hoovering, the cleaning, the washing, and she was going to show them all how to do it, You do the garden, you look after the dogs, you do this and that, the next thing. If you do that, you'll get a percentage of any winnings. And as soon as you tell a kid, do you know what? Rather than give you 10 quid a week pocket money, I'll give you 2% of my trade winnings for that week. 2% of the winnings. And if you make £1,000 in that week, you'll get 2%. If I make tenner, you'll get 2%. If I lose money, you get nothing. But I need to be in front of the charts in order to make money. What do you say? And they jumped on the bandwagon. And they said, yes, please, we'll have that. So she has to pay 6% of her winnings weekly to her kids. But they do a job. They take the bins out, they do the hoovering, the microwaving of food, they do the dogs, the picking up the poo, cleaning other things and whatnot, and get themselves to and from school. They're old enough to do that. Get themselves to and from school without any issue. And then when the FTMO challenge finally finished and completed, and she was given the 100,000 account, and we were talking about it quite openly. Full disclosure, it is on a demo account which allegedly then goes through to a live account, and Lady P has had payment from said company. So it's not as if it's a scam that I'm aware of anyway, unless they're scamming out of their own pockets. But she's getting paid, and she's making a very decent return. You've then got to take into account taxation, because if it's your only form of income, it is taxable. Just remember that. If this is your only or main form of income, it's taxable. Boom. You didn't know that, did you? So once all that's been taken care of, then she gives her 3 kids, 3 boys, 2% of her weekly winnings, and it's tallied up, and they get it given at the end of the month, like a wage. Here you go, here's your monthly wage. Boom, you've all got the same. She's done very well, and I believe Lady P was asked to do a interview for them, but declined quite gracefully, if you can call it that. She's not very good on camera. Fair enough. She's not good with the old speaky technically thing, unlike others. But she is very good at just following a set of rules, and her rules are mine with a bit of a tweak on. Lady P has changed a few bits and bobs here and there, and it's worked out very, very well for her. She's done exactly what I would want anyone who I have tried to talk to trading about do, and that is learn something new, learn everything about that thing, then change it slightly to meet their own expectations. As I said earlier, I can't remember when, probably about 7 hours ago when I was talking to the start. If you don't know what a candle is, or if you don't know the difference between an ETF and spot price, or if you don't know that everything has a future tradable price, so for instance copper, only because I'm looking at it on my third screen, copper has a futures price, and you can click on copper itself and you can go to copper or futures. If you go to Tesla has a spot price, which is the market price of Tesla this second, or a futures price. So if you don't know that and you try trading on a futures contract price, which is a contract for difference thing, on a futures price for December this year, it's going to give you a different spread. It's going to give you a different costing. It's going to be a very different market. It won't be the same as the cash price. The chart might look the same, The numbers might even be exactly the same. Excuse me, but the buy and sell figures from your broker will be different. There's a different way of trading that. If you don't know those, don't trade it. If you're brand spanky new, and I mean fresh out of the box, just got that new trader smell on you, and you don't know anything about it, this is not for you. My videos won't help you, I don't think. I might give you some entertainment value, and I might give you some snippets that you can then take away in the next, year, 2 years, and go, actually, Mad was talking about that Mad trading lunatic, and he said, that's this and this is the other thing, and you shouldn't do that because that's what this is doing. Oh yeah, I might not do that. Oh yeah, look, he was right. And that's great. You've taken some information. Great. Don't take it as gold. Don't take it as that is the answer, because it's not. There's always 3 answers to everything. There's their truth, there's your truth, and then there's the truth. Always. Regardless of what it is you're talking about. Anyway, 95 minutes. I think I've waffled on for far too long. It's 10 to 10. Blimey, is that all it's been? Feels like an right eternity. I'm going to leave you to it. If you do watch this in the future, remember things change. You never know. You might be so far in the future that you can't remember coronavirus. We were on lockdown and we had to wipe our bums with greaseproof paper because idiots went running off into the shops to buy thousands and thousands of toilet rolls for no reason. Just because there's a virus doesn't mean that trees are going to stop growing. Idiots. Anyway, have a good day or evening. Say hello to all your family from me. Give it a big thumbs up, and I'll speak to you probably shortly. Have a good day.